When I saw the award in that girl's hands, I finally understood why my son's wrists were always covered in scratches. I had been asking myself for 6 months, Ethan, why are your arms always covered in cuts and bruises? He always gave me the same answer. It happened while I was working in the garage. Mom, it's nothing important. But now, watching that scene, watching Madison Carter walk up on stage and lift the state championship trophy, I finally understood where those wounds came from. My son's hands bled every night while he was working on that project, cutting metal pieces, mounting filters, setting up the water tank. His hands were getting injured. But Madison, who was giving the presentation, had perfectly manicured nails, because my son had done the entire project, and now that trophy was in her hands. My name is Claire Bennett. I'm 47 years old, and I teach biology at a high school in Austin, Texas. For 20 years, I've been teaching young people the beauty of science. Honesty, hard work. It's a scientific method. But what I learned that day was different. Sometimes the system rewards liars. Ethan is my only son. 16 years old, quiet, shy, wears glasses, invisible among his peers. No one at school talks to him. He sits alone in the cafeteria. But his mind is brilliant. That's why I was both his mother and his friend. I couldn't let anyone put my son down or ignore him. Last fall, he came to me. His eyes were sparkling for the first time. Mom, I have an idea. Microplastics are getting into water treatment systems. But if I develop a filtration method, maybe I can enter the state science fair. Maybe a university will notice me. I heard the hope in his voice. Ethan never had confidence in himself, but this time was different. This time he had a dream. This dream would help him hold on to life even more. That night we made plans together at the kitchen table. I guided him, but the project was entirely his. He designed everything, from the hypothesis to the experimental setup to data collection. I was just guiding. For 6 months, he worked in the garage every evening. After school, he'd rush home and go straight to the garage. Metal pipes, water filters, microscope, test tubes. Our small garage had turned into a laboratory, and his hands were always injured. Mom, it's okay, he'd say. Great projects require pain. I'd smile and put ointment on his hands. But in January, things started to change. Ethan became quiet. His phone was always with him, but he kept the screen dark. Lights were on in his room late at night. Sometimes when I passed by his door, I'd hear him talking on the phone. Yes, okay, I'll bring it tomorrow. No, it's not a problem, he'd say to the other person. One night I opened the door slightly. Ethan was at his computer. He was copying Excel files to a USB drive. Ethan, is everything okay? He jumped. He quickly pulled out the USB. I'm fine, Mom, just backing things up. It was like he was hiding something from me. I didn't understand, but there was something in his eyes. Fear, panic, shame. Son, you can talk to me. Always. He nodded. I know, Mom. Really, everything's fine. But it wasn't, and then that morning came. Pinecrest County Science Fair, March 15th, 2024. When we entered the gym, huge display boards were lined up. Hundreds of students stood by their projects. Jury members were walking around taking notes. Ethan's project wasn't there. Ethan, where's your project? He swallowed. Mom, I need to tell you something. When Ethan... Mrs. Bennett. Someone called out. I turned around. Madison Carter was running toward us. Long blonde hair, perfect makeup, designer clothes. She was one of the most popular girls in school. Cheerleading captain. Everyone's sweetheart, Dot, and Ethan's classmate. Have you seen the project? She asked excitedly. The jury members will be here soon. I'm so excited. Which project? I asked. Smiling, she grabbed my arm. Come on, I'll show you. She led us to a display board. The biggest, most spectacular board. It was positioned right at the entrance to the hall, and everything was there. Capturing microplastics in water treatment systems. An innovative filtration approach. Project owner Madison Carter, the graphics were the same. The color codes were the same. The water tank model was the same. Data points, results, hypothesis method. Everything was the same. An exact copy of my son's 6 months of nights. Bleeding hands and hope. There was only one difference. Madison's photo was pasted on the project card. My breath caught. How could this be? What does this mean? My voice was shaking. Madison grinned. Isn't it great? Ethan and I worked together, of course. He became my lab partner. You know, Ethan is very good with data, but he's a bit shy about presentations. So I said, let's finish this together. He handled the technical parts, and I prepared the presentation. Teamwork. I turned to Ethan. His head was down. His eyes were on the ground. His hands were trembling. The jury members came this morning, Madison continued. They were very impressed. They nominated me for the state finals. I'm going to apply for a university scholarship with this. Maybe MIT. MIT was Ethan's dream. Every night he'd look at the MIT poster above his bed. Madison was still talking. Mrs. Bennett, as a teacher, you must be so happy. Ethan was really a good assistant. I'm so lucky. Assistant. My son, who worked in the garage every night for 6 months, whose hands bled, who told me with hopeful eyes, Mom, this is my chance, was now an assistant, and that trophy would be in Madison's hands tomorrow. I touched Ethan's shoulder. Let's go, I said. But Mrs. Bennett Madison called after us. The award ceremony is in 2 hours. Ethan should come too. After all, he's my partner. I turned around. I smiled. Teacher smile. Calm, polite, professional. Madison, I said, your project is wonderful. I'm sure the jury will be very impressed. Then Ethan and I left the hall. When we got in the car, Ethan was silent. Tears were streaming down his cheeks. Mom, I'm sorry. I'm such an idiot. I held his hand. No, you're not an idiot. You're a genius. And this isn't over yet. That night when I got home, I didn't sleep. I just made plans. That night, I sat at the kitchen table. Ethan was upstairs in his room, crying. I could hear him. I could hear his sobs buried in the pillow. This is the most painful thing for a mother. Hearing your child suffer and not being able to do anything. But I could do something. I opened my laptop. First, I looked at Madison Carter's social media accounts. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. The same image everywhere. Perfect life. Beach vacations, brands, parties with friends, cheerleader photos. There was no science anywhere. No laboratory, experiments, research anywhere. Just selfies and filters. Then I checked the school records. As a biology teacher, I had access to the system. I looked at Madison's grades. Her average in science classes was C level. She got a D in chemistry last semester. Most of our lab reports were incomplete or submitted late, but Ethan's grades were perfect. He was on the honor roll. He got an A in every science class. The next morning, I dropped Ethan off at school. Don't go near her today, I said. Just attend your classes. I'll handle it. Mom, please just let it go. It'll only get worse. I held his hand. Ethan, look at me. You worked on that project for 6 months. Every night, every weekend. I watched you. Madison didn't have a single day on that project, and I'm going to prove it. When I entered the school, I first found the assistant principal, Mr. Patterson. He'd been working at this school for 30 years. He was an honest man. Claire, good morning. Is everything okay? No, Tom, it's not okay. I need to talk to you about the science fair. We went into his office. I closed the door. Madison Carter's project is Ethan's project, I said, word for word. Ethan has been developing that project for 6 months. Every detail is his. Madison just stole it. Tom frowned. Claire, that's a serious accusation. Do you have proof? Yes, I do. I pulled out Ethan's project notebook from my bag. Notes, drawings, calculations he'd been keeping since September. Every page had a date. Every page had Ethan's handwriting. These are Ethan's notes. Since September 2023. Every experiment, every calculation, every graph is here. Madison made no contribution to this project. Tom looked at the notebook. He turned the pages. He rubbed his forehead. Claire, I understand. But Madison officially registered this project in her own name. She applied to the fair. She presented it to the jury. Why didn't Ethan say anything? Because Madison lied to him. She told him, we'll work together. Ethan trusted her. Madison took everything gradually. The notes, the data, the model. By the time Ethan realized, it was too late. Tom took a long breath. Okay, I need to investigate this. But Claire, you need to be careful. Madison's family is very influential in this district. Her father is on the county council. Her mother is the head of the school foundation. If we make the wrong move, this could affect your career too. I smiled, Tom. I've been working at this school for 20 years. I've educated hundreds of students, but I've never compromised on honesty, and I won't now. When I left the office, my phone rang. A number I didn't recognize. Mrs. Bennett. This is Sandra Lee. I'm the Pinecrest County Science Fair coordinator. The reason I'm calling is we have some questions about Madison Carter's project. My heart raced. Yes, I'm listening. Last night, one of the jury members came to me. Dr. Harrison, a retired engineer from MIT, while reviewing Madison's project. He noticed some inconsistencies. The technical terms and mathematical calculations she used in the presentation are well above high school level. When they asked her questions, she couldn't answer. She only gave memorized responses. I see. Dr. Harrison asked me to investigate the originality of the project. I checked online to see if there was a similar study, but I couldn't find one. Then I thought, maybe this project belongs to another student. Mrs. Lee, can I tell you something? Please. This project belongs to my son, Ethan Bennett. He's been working on it for 6 months. He has all the notes, experiments, data. Madison just stole it. There was silence on the phone. Mrs. Bennett, if this is true, this is very serious. Madison's award will be canceled. It could even be removed from school records. But I need proof. I'll send you everything tomorrow. That night, Ethan and I scanned everything. Project notebook, photos, videos. I had photos of Ethan working in the garage since September. At every stage. In one, Ethan was mounting the water tank. His hands were bloody. Date, November 12, 2023. In another, he was collecting data with a microscope. Date, January 3, 2024. I looked at Madison's social media. Where was she on the same dates? November 12, 2023. She was at a beach party in Miami. January 3, 2024. She was skiing in Aspen. Every piece of evidence was coming together. But I found the most important evidence on Ethan's computer. All the project files were there. The creation date, modification date of each file. First file, September 15, 2023. Last file, March 10, 2024. All on Ethan's computer. All with his username. And there were messages, conversations Ethan had with Madison on his phone. Madison, Ethan, tomorrow's data ready. I need to show it to the jury. Ethan, yes, I'll copy it to a USB and bring it. Madison, you're great. We'll finish this project together, okay? Ethan, okay. But can I do the presentation part too? I worked so hard on this. Madison, Ethan, you're very shy. Presentation isn't your thing. You handle the data, I'll handle the talking. That's teamwork. Teamwork. The same thing in every message. Madison asking, Ethan answering. Madison demanding, Ethan delivering. My son was too kind-hearted. He believed everyone. Do you believe everything everyone says? Let's meet in the comments. And finally, Madison, Ethan, I need to register the project in my name. The jury wants single-person applications. You'll appear as a partner, okay? Ethan, but Madison, I want my name on it too. Madison, Ethan, I'm presenting to the jury. Your name is already on it. Don't worry. If we win, we'll both get the award. A lie? Every word was a lie. The next morning, I sent all the documents to Mrs. Lee. Project notebook. Photos, messages, file dates, Madison's social media evidence. 2 hours later, the phone rang. Mrs. Bennett, I've reviewed all the documents. I also called Madison in for questioning again. I asked her about the technical details of the project in front of the jury members. She couldn't answer a single question. She couldn't even explain how the filtration mechanism works. What happens now? Madison Carter's award has been canceled. The project has been removed from the records. I sent an official report to the school administration. Also, we're calling Ethan before the jury tomorrow. If he successfully defends the project, the award will be given to him. My eyes filled with tears. Thank you, Mrs. Lee. No, Mrs. Bennett, I'm the one who should thank you. If you hadn't investigated, Madison would have applied to MIT with this project. This isn't just theft, it's scientific fraud. Tell Ethan, be before the jury at 10 a.m. tomorrow. I hung up the phone. Ethan came into the kitchen. Mom, who was it? I turned around. He looked into my eyes. Son, I said, tomorrow you're getting that trophy. Ethan's eyes widened. What? Madison's award has been canceled. Tomorrow you're going before the jury, and you're going to defend the project. Ethan's knees gave out. He sat on the floor. He started crying, but this time the tears were different. They were tears of hope. When I opened that file, it wasn't my heart that broke, it was my patience. But now justice was starting to work. The next morning when I entered the school, everything had changed. The hallways were quiet. Students were whispering. Everyone had heard that Madison Carter's award had been canceled, but no one knew why. Not yet. Ethan was by my side. He was wearing a white shirt, he'd combed his hair, he had his project notebook in his hand. He was still trembling, but this time not from fear, from excitement. Mom, what if I can't answer their questions? Ethan, you worked on that project every night for 6 months. You know every detail. Just tell the truth. We entered the gym. The jury members had taken their seats. There were 5 of them. Dr. Harrison, the retired engineer from MIT, was sitting in the middle. He adjusted his glasses and looked at us. Mrs. Lee came over to us. Ethan, are you ready? Ethan nodded. Be yourself. Explain the project. Answer the questions. The truth always wins. Just then, the door opened. Madison Carter walked in. But she wasn't alone. Her father was with her. Dark suit, expensive watch, that typical I run this town posture. Richard Carter, county council member, and her mother, Catherine Carter, head of the school foundation. Pearl necklace, designer bag, glacial stare. Madison's eyes were bright red. She'd been crying, or she'd been pretending to cry. Richard Carter walked straight to Mrs. Lee. Mrs. Lee, what's the meaning of this disgrace? Why did you cancel my daughter's award? Mrs. Lee remained calm. Mr. Carter, please sit down. I'll explain everything. No, I want your explanation now. My daughter worked on that project for 6 months, and now you're taking her award away because of a false accusation. Dr. Harrison stood up. Mr. Carter, please sit down or leave. This is a scientific inquiry, not a legal argument. Richard Carter's face turned red, but he sat down. Catherine Carter turned to me. Her eyes were like arrows. Claire Bennett, because of you. You're trying to blame your son's inadequacy on my daughter. She was really an annoying woman, but I had to stay calm. Something exploded inside me. But I didn't raise my voice. Catherine, the only inadequacy here is your daughter's honesty. How dare you? Dr. Harrison pounded on the table. Enough. Everyone will be quiet. Now we'll listen to Ethan Bennett. Ethan stepped in front of the jury table. His hands were trembling. He placed his project notebook in front of him. Dr. Harrison spoke in a soft voice. Ethan, calm down. Tell us about the beginning of the project. How did you get the idea? Ethan swallowed. Last summer, I heard about microplastic pollution on the news. Oceans, rivers, even our drinking water was being polluted. I thought if there was a special filtration system in water treatment plants, it could capture microplastics. Continue. First, I did research. I read scientific articles. The sizes of microplastics, their densities, how they move in water. Then I formed a hypothesis. If I design a multi-layered filtration system, I can catch different-sized microplastics separately. Dr. Harrison took notes. How did you do these calculations? First, I calculated the water flow rate. Then I determined the filter pore sizes. Each layer has a different pore size. The first layer catches large particles, the second layer catches medium-sized ones. The third layer catches microscopic plastics. What filter materials did you use? Activated carbon, ceramic membrane, and polymer mesh. I combined all three. Dr. Harrison raised his eyebrows. Polymer mesh is quite above high school level. Where did you find it? I ordered it online. My mom paid with her credit card. The invoices should still be there. Was true. I had paid $87 in October. From a lab supplies website, Dr. Harrison turned to Madison. Madison, did you know these filter materials? Madison froze. Ethan told me, her voice trembling. I knew for a fact she had no idea. She'd just heard it. Which material did you use? Activated carbon. There were 3 materials. What are the other 2? Silence. Madison's mother jumped in. My daughter is nervous. This isn't fair. Dr. Harrison ignored her. Ethan, how did you conduct the experiments? I set up a water tank in our garage. I put microplastic particles in it, different sizes. Then I passed the water through my filter system. I took water samples at each stage. I examined them under a microscope. I counted how many particles were captured. How many experiments did you do? 23. In each one, I changed a different parameter. Water temperature, flow rate, filter order. How did you record the results? Ethan opened his project notebook. Here, the date, time, parameters, results of each experiment. I drew graphs. I did statistical analysis. Dr. Harrison looked at the notebook. He turned the pages. He examined the graphs. He was silent for a long time. Then he turned to Madison. Madison, were you present during any of these experiments? Madison was sweating. Ethan was doing it. I was writing the results. She was lying. Where were you writing? In my notebook. This notebook is full of Ethan's handwriting. Which page did you write? Madison looked at the notebook. She couldn't say a single word. A great silence fell. The lie had been exposed. Dr. Harrison turned to Mrs. Lee. It's enough for me. This project belongs entirely to Ethan Bennett. Madison Carter made no contribution. Richard Carter jumped up. This is unacceptable. You're destroying my daughter's future. Dr. Harrison looked coldly. No, Mr. Carter, your daughter destroyed her own future. When she stole someone else's work, we'll hire a lawyer. We'll sue this school. Go ahead. But let me tell you something first. I worked at MIT for 30 years. I educated hundreds of students. And there's one rule in science. Honesty is more important than anything. If a student cheats, steals work, fabricates data, their career is over. They don't just lose a project. Their entire future is darkened. Richard Carter's face turned white. Dr. Harrison continued. Madison Carter was planning to use this project in her MIT application. If she had applied before we caught it and it came out later, she would have been permanently banned from MIT, not just from your school, but from all prestigious universities. This time, Madison really started crying. Catherine Carter took her daughter in her arms. Let's get out of here. But before leaving through the door, she turned to me. I won't let you get away with this. You think you've finished me, but I'm the one who's going to finish you. Claire, she threatened. I smiled. Catherine, I didn't try to finish you. I just protected my son. But if you insist on attacking me, you can keep attacking because I'm at peace. With all this evidence in my hands, we'll meet in court. The door closed. The hall was silent. Dr. Harrison turned to Ethan. Ethan, I have one more question for you. Yes, sir? Why did you give Madison everything? Why didn't you resist? Ethan lowered his head. Because someone showed interest in me for the first time. Madison talked to me. She smiled. She said, let's work together. I had never been popular. I had never been visible. And I thought, maybe this was my chance. Maybe Madison would really be my friend. His voice broke. But I was such an idiot. She just wanted my project. Dr. Harrison stood up. He came next to Ethan. He put his hand on his shoulder. Ethan, you're not an idiot. You're kind-hearted. And the science world needs kind-hearted people. But you also need to learn to be strong. Because there will be Madisons there too. People who want to steal your ideas. But if you're strong, you can stand up to them. Ethan raised his head. His eyes were full. Now go fix the project. In your own name. Because tomorrow you'll be competing in the state finals. Ethan started crying. But this time they were tears of joy. The jury members applauded. I was crying too, at that moment when our eyes met. Dr. Harrison nodded to me. He smiled. And when the gym doors closed that morning, nothing would ever be the same again. Justice was slow, silent, but real. 3 weeks later, I was standing in the huge hall of the Austin Convention Center. State Science, Bear Finals, the best 50 projects from all over Texas, hundreds of students, families, teachers. And Ethan, my son, was standing by his own project. He wasn't trembling anymore. His head wasn't down anymore. My son was the right one. The panel had been renewed, corrected. Ethan's photo was on it. His name was written in bold letters, capturing microplastics in water treatment systems, an innovative filtration approach. Project owner Ethan Bennett jury rounds had started in the morning. 15 minutes were allotted to each project. Ethan's turn was in the afternoon, but I'd been there since morning watching. Feeling proud, Ethan was talking with other students. He was smiling. For the first time in his life, he looked confident. A girl came up to him. I studied your project last night. It's incredible. The polymer mesh idea is brilliant. Ethan blushed. Thank you. Your project is great too. It's about solar panel efficiency, right? Yes. Maybe we can share notes later. Of course. My heart warmed. Ethan wasn't invisible anymore. He wasn't the kid sitting alone in the corner anymore. He'd found himself. When lunchtime came, my phone rang. A number I didn't recognize. Mrs. Bennett. This is David Chen. I'm from the Texas Tribune newspaper. We're preparing a story about the Madison Carter incident. Can I interview you? My heart raced. How did you hear about it? A school administrator in Pinecrest County leaked it. Madison Carter's award being canceled, allegations of scientific fraud. This is a big scandal, especially considering her family's position in the district. Mr. Chen, I don't want to talk to the press. This is my son's story. I don't want to overshadow his victory. I understand. But Mrs. Bennett, this isn't just your son's story. How many more Ethans are there? How many more students are being crushed by the children of powerful families? This story needs to be heard. I thought, he was right. Okay, but just write the facts. Don't make it dramatic, I promise. 2 hours later, Ethan's presentation began. The jury members came. 5 people. Dr. Harrison was among them. He winked at me. Double quotes, Ethan. You can begin. Ethan took a deep breath. And he started talking. There was no trembling in his voice anymore. Only passion. He explained microplastic pollution. How it pollutes oceans, rivers, drinking water. How people ingest microplastics every day. The health risks. Then he presented his solution. The 3-layer filtration system. How each layer works, what size plastics it captures. He showed the experiments. 23 experiments. Graphs, statistics, results. My system captures microplastics at a 94.7% rate. It can be integrated into existing water treatment plants. Low cost, easy maintenance. The jury members asked questions. Technical questions. Difficult questions. Ethan answered them all, easily, confidently. One jury member asked Ethan, "What was the hardest part of developing this project?" Ethan paused. He looked at me. "The hardest part was finding my own voice. I stayed silent for a long time because I thought I was invisible. But my mom taught me something. Your voice matters. Your work is valuable, and no one can take it from you unless you give it away." My eyes filled with tears. The jury applauded. At 6 p.m., the results were announced. All finalists gathered in the hall. Names would appear on a huge screen. Ethan was next to me. He was squeezing my hand. "Mom, even if I don't win, it's okay. Just getting here is enough." "Ethan, you've already won. You've won everything." The screen lit up. Third place award, Jessica Morales. Solar panel efficiency. Asterisk applause. Second place award, Daniel Park. Disease diagnosis with artificial intelligence. Applause. Ethan's hand was trembling. And first place award. A picture appeared on the screen. Ethan's photo. Ethan Bennett. Capturing microplastics in water treatment systems. The hall stood up. Applause. Cheers. Ethan froze. He couldn't believe it. "Mom, did I win?" "Really?" I smiled. "Go, son. Get your trophy." Ethan ran to the stage. His legs were trembling, but his face was smiling. Dr. Harrison gave him the trophy. A big, shiny gold trophy. And an envelope. "Ethan Bennett, we're not just giving you the state championship award. You've also earned full scholarship admission to the MIT Summer Research Program. This summer, you'll work with real scientists in MIT laboratories." Ethan's eyes widened. "MIT? Really?" "Really. We hope to see you on campus in September." Ethan cried. In the middle of the stage with the trophy in his arms, envelope in his hand, he cried. And I cried too. The entire hall was applauding. On the way home that night, Ethan held the trophy in his lap. He wouldn't let go. "Mom, thank you. Without you, I wouldn't be here." "No, Ethan, I just stood by you. You're the one who won. You worked every night for 6 months. You're the one who didn't give up." But when Madison stole everything, I was going to give up. "You didn't give up." I held his hand. "Ethan, let me tell you something. There will always be Madisons in life. People who want to steal your work. People who want to belittle you. But as long as you're strong, none of them can win." I learned to be strong, Mom. I won't stay silent anymore. That's my son. When we got home, there was a car parked in front of the door. A familiar car. Asterisk Catherine Carter's car. My heart raced. I left Ethan in the car. "Stay here." I walked to the door. Catherine was waiting outside. "Catherine, what do you want?" Her face was pale. Her eyes were swollen. "Claire, I need to talk to you." "I have nothing to say. Please. Just 1 minute." Sighed. "Okay, 1 minute." Catherine spoke in a trembling voice. "Madison has collapsed. No one at school is talking to her. Teachers see her differently. Her friends have turned their backs on her. She was kicked off the cheerleading team. Catherine, that's not my fault. Madison is living with the consequences of her own choices. I know." Her voice broke. "I know. And I was a terrible mother. I taught Madison that she could do anything. I taught her that winning was more important than anything. But I didn't teach her honesty." Her eyes filled with tears. "Claire, I came to apologize. To you, to Ethan. What Madison did is unforgivable. And I made an unforgivable mistake by helping her." There was a long silence. "Catherine, I accept your apology. But Ethan needs to accept it. This decision belongs to him." "I understand." Madison wrote a letter. "To Ethan, she's apologizing." "Can I give this to Ethan?" I took the letter. "I'll give it to him. But Ethan doesn't have to respond." "I know. I just want him to read it." Catherine left. The car drove away. Ethan got out of the car. What did she want? She came to apologize. "And there's a letter from Madison. For you." Ethan took the envelope. He didn't open it. "I'll read it later." Right now, I want to put my trophy in my room. Smiled. Go ahead. Late that night, I went to Ethan's room. He was sitting on his bed. He had the letter in his hand. Did you read it? Yes. What does it say? She's apologizing. She says she used me, that she was selfish, that what she did was wrong. And she promises she'll never do something like that again. What do you think? Ethan folded the letter. I don't know, Mom. Maybe she learned something too. Maybe she'll change. But I can't trust her. Maybe I never will. That's your right. But I'm not angry at her anymore. Because if Madison hadn't happened, I would never have become strong. I wouldn't have learned to break my silence. I looked at my son's face. He wasn't a 16-year-old boy anymore. He was a young man, a strong young man. The next morning, a story came out in the Texas Tribune. Science fair scandal. Powerful family's daughter stole someone else's project. The news spread everywhere. It trended on social media. Everyone at school was talking about it, but Ethan didn't care. He was just thinking about his new project. The research he'd do at MIT a week later. A letter came from the school administration. To Mr. Ethan Bennett. As the Pinecrest County School Administration, we offer our deepest apologies for the injustice you experienced. It is our duty to teach our students the values of honesty, justice, and academic integrity. We failed in this incident. From now on, a double review system will be implemented for all science fair projects. No student will ever experience such injustice again. Additionally, we would like to organize a special ceremony in your honor to celebrate your state championship and share your story as inspiration to all students. Respectfully, Pinecrest County School Administration. After reading the letter, Ethan looked at me. Mom, I don't want the ceremony. Why? Because I don't need to impress the outside world anymore. I know myself. I know my worth. That's enough. I smiled. That's real power, son. Not needing other people's approval. That evening, we ate dinner together in the kitchen. Ethan was looking at the MIT brochure. His eyes were sparkling. Ah, do you think I can make friends there? I'm sure. Because now you're the real Ethan. And the real Ethan is amazing. The phone rang. It was Mrs. Lee. Mrs. Bennett, I have great news. Ethan's project has been selected for the national finals. He'll compete in Washington, D.C., and if he wins, he will be included in a full scholarship university program. My eyes filled with tears. Really? Really? Tell Ethan he needs to prepare. We'll be in Washington in 2 months. I hung up the phone. I turned to Ethan. Son, a new adventure is beginning. Ethan smiled. I know, Mom, and this time I'm ready. The sun was filtering through the kitchen window. Ethan's trophy was shining on the table. The MIT envelope was hanging on the wall. And for the first time, I felt such deep peace inside. Justice was slow, silent, but real, and its echo would last for years. That day, I didn't hear justice. I felt it. I saw the strength in my son's eyes. I heard the confidence in his voice. I noticed the grace in his posture. Real justice wasn't revenge. It wasn't yelling, humiliating, destroying. Real justice was being able to walk with peace. Head held high, heart clean, conscience clear. Madison Carter lost an award, but Ethan gained a life. And I, as a mother, did the most important thing I could do. I taught my son that silence isn't weakness. Strength is a choice. But when it's necessary to break the silence, I also showed him how to do it with grace. If you found yourself in this story too, if you also learned to break your silence, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because real justice is silent, but its echo changes the whole world. Don't forget to subscribe so the stories of justice can be heard more. And remember, your voice matters. Your story is valuable, and no one can take it from you unless you give it away.